Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be discussing how I lost my first 60 pounds. My name is Kayla. I'm on a self-improvement journey to be the best me that I can be. And right now, I'm trying to lose 169 pounds. What? Okay guys, so there's tons of ways to lose weight. You got doctors, researchers, advertisements, even popular influencers telling you how to lose weight. But the problem is, not every diet works for everybody. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how I lost my 60 pounds through my diet in the last year. I originally wanted to include my exercise portion as well, but I've decided to go very in-depth with both the diet and the exercise. And I'm going to make a part 2 with the exercise that I'll post next Monday. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss that next video, okay? This video I'm going to get into what diets I've tried and failed, the diet that I finally found that I've been successful with, and at the end I'm going to give you guys some secrets to make sure that you're successful in your weight loss journey too. Guys, big weight loss transformations do not happen overnight. It's extremely difficult to do and to keep pursuing. There's a lot of ups and downs, and there's a lot of L's in this process. For me, I had many fails during my first year. I think it's important to note because this process is not all rainbows and sunshine. It's going to take a lot of work. For however long we've been eating badly and not exercising, we've done that to ourselves through not pushing and doing the easy thing. To reverse it, it's going to be a lot of work. But it is possible, I know, because I've lost 60 pounds. Before I get started with my weight loss journey, I had a friend that was doing the Slimfast plan. Now, I at the time had such an aversion to Slimfast, and I really don't know why. I guess I kind of felt like it's putting your life on blast, you know? Like, if I was just eating salads, I could just pretend like, oh no, I just really like salads. I mean, some people really like salads, right? But the Slimfast plan is just like out there, like slim fast. Like there's no getting around exactly why you're drinking it. But I didn't really like the premise of Slimfast, which is that you replace 2 meals a day with a shake. So what I did instead was I kind of customized my own plan and did juiced vegetables, 1 drink per meal per day. So I switched the 2 meals still, but I had 1 drink with 1 meal. Now the juice that I used were like this. And basically I would just drink those. I had really amazing results. In the first week, I think I lost like 12 pounds and the results were continuing to be there. But the problem with this is it's just not sustainable. I mean, these drinks are like 45 to 80 calories each and they taste, well, I mean, just like you would think a whole bunch of vegetables drinking would taste. So my mind started working against me, telling me, no, this is not good. And I started getting really grossed out. It got to the point where I would just take a little sip and I would have like horrible gag reflex. So I knew that this plan was not going to continue working for me and I'd have to move on to the next thing. Something that I thought about, I really don't want to add food back in. I really liked the idea of meal replacement. And so I eventually moved into Slimfast. Well, they have been around for decades, so they must be doing something right. I mean, even my mom did it when she was younger. And I feel like after I got past that original stigma, it was a lot better. Okay, so I totally sneakily brought them into work and hid them in the communal fridge when no one was looking. But I just ended up deciding that my weight loss was more important than feeling like I was stupid in front of other people. And so, I actually think that Slimfast is a really good program. I mean, their shakes are really well balanced with nutrients and protein and such, and it's super convenient to just grab a shake and have it as a meal instead of cooking or making your own shake and having dishes. And their new advanced formula is actually really good. It's very low in sugar, very high in protein, and I believe it's lactose free, which is really nice. So I really think it's a great program for people to start with and possibly even be successful with long term. And I actually really like the taste at first. Okay, I'm just gonna throw a disclaimer in here. I hate things that are monotonous. This can be jobs, workouts that are like 4 hours or longer, and diet plans. This is probably why I failed at a lot of diets, but eventually Slimfast became monotonous for me. There's only a couple flavors, and eventually I started getting that grossed out feeling that I was getting with the first plan, and I couldn't drink it anymore. But I was on Slimfast for about a month and I did see successful results, so I do feel like it's a good program to try out if you're starting for the first time on something. After I stopped doing Slimfast, I was really over dieting. I had already been doing it for a couple months. I had lost 40 pounds and I ended up just getting really complacent. I was tired of having to do the diet, so I pretty much fell off the wagon completely and I gained 10 pounds really quickly. it really sucked for me at the time, and I was getting just so depressed and so overwhelmed. I just didn't even want to do it. I felt like giving up. And I ended up doing like half-assed a lot of just fad diets that were lasting like maybe a week, and then I would stop, and nothing was really showing me the progress. I was kind of bouncing up and down that 10 pounds for probably the whole 6 months in between those structured diets until the diet that I found that was successful. And it was really overwhelming to me, but during that time I did no sugar, no sweets. I did a diet with no bread. I did a diet like no fast food or no going out to eat, but everything, like nothing was sustainable for me. Like it just wasn't working out. I didn't feel like I could continue with it, and for whatever reason I kept stopping. About 2 months ago, I started getting a really bad flare-up of eczema. I had experienced eczema before in my past, just like small patches, probably like in the wintertime, but this was like literally covering my entire upper arm, and it had started transferring over to my other arm, and I was really freaking out about it. I had switched to scent-free everything. I had used medicated lotions, like literally nothing was working. At the time, I was also experiencing a lot of joint pain, like stomach issues, and I had a lot of acne, and I knew that this was all probably surrounding food sensitivities. Food sensitivities cause numerous issues in your body like skin rashes, headaches, fatigue, poor sleep, bloating, stomach issues. There's so many different things that can be caused by just what you're eating. And since I was experiencing literally all of those things, I knew that I had an issue with food sensitivity, and what I was eating was literally slowly killing me. And I didn't want to feel like crap anymore. I really wanted to change. I really wanted to feel better. So I ended up looking at the Elimination Diet. And for those of you that don't know, Elimination Diet is like geared towards finding what your food sensitivities are. You take out everything that is supposed to be or can cause a food sensitivity, and you get it all out of your system, and then you add back in each food to see how it reacts with you. I actually had a doctor suggest this diet to me in the past, but at the time I immediately shot it down because it's super restrictive. I mean, what can you eat? The no-goes are gluten, dairy, soy, nuts, like some fruits and vegetables. There's so many things you can't eat. There's more on the list that you can't eat than what you can eat. But at the time, I had been in so much pain and experiencing a lot of issues, and so I felt like the sacrifice was good at that point, and I would be willing to make that sacrifice. Now, the rules of the Elimination Diet are for 21 to 28 days, you don't eat any foods that can cause allergies in your body. And this phase is supposed to clean out all the toxins. Now, the idea behind this phase is to clean everything out and start fresh, because they say that if you are already eating so much of food that you're sensitive to, and then you eat something that you're sensitive to, your body's not going to really be able to tell right then and there that this is a bad food, but you will see it later with the joint pain and the stomach issues and all that other stuff. So like in a battlefield analogy, let's say, if you have a castle that's overrun by rebels and one person breaks in, then you're not going to realize it. You're not going to know that that person broke in, but you will see the long-term effects when you go to the West Wing and everyone's dead. So that's basically what they want to do for the Elimination Diet. They want to throw all the rebels out, start the castle off fresh, get it secured, and get a new army in there. So now when you're entering foods back in, then they will know that someone has broken in. You know, you're going to know right then and there. You're going to get a really quick reaction. You're going to know right away if this is a food that's bothering you or not. So after that 21 to 28 days is over, and that time period's really based off your preference, I went ahead and did the 28 because I wanted to be absolutely sure that none of that stuff was in my body anymore. And you add in one category at a time, like you add in soy foods one at a time, or then you add dairy, and you eat it for 1 to 3 days and you see how your body reacts to it. Now, if you eat it for 1 to 3 days and you take it out and there's no difference throughout the whole time, you know that you're okay to eat that food in the future. And if you get a reaction to it, which will probably be instantaneous or within that day, honestly, from my experience, then you know that you can't have that food any longer. So like for me, I brought in soy back in, and within an hour my stomach was cramping up so bad. So like you'll really know that something's not good for you. So it seems easy enough, right? Well, not exactly. Because here's the thing, when I started doing research on Elimination Diet, I realized that there's literally so many different elimination diets. And you're thinking, how could that be? I know. But it's literally because there's so many different foods that can be considered food sensitivities, that people have broken up the Elimination Diet into all these different variations that only take out certain of those foods, you know. And if you're trying to look for this specific diet there's like almost no recipes online. And if you do find recipes, it's going to have main ingredients that include foods from that are not okay for your variation but would be okay for this variation. So it's super confusing, and I was having a really hard time and I was getting overwhelmed, and I knew that not having accessibility to a lot of recipes would make me fail because I like variation. As I've said in the previous diets, I failed because they're so monotonous. So for me, I just kept doing research, and I realized that the Paleo diet is actually very similar to Elimination Diet, but it's super popular, and so there's a plethora of recipes out there. And so I found a winner. I really love the Paleo diet because I don't miss much from what I used to eat. I mean, I still crave fast food when I drive by, and I still want to indulge when people bring goodies to work, and I still drool when I go through the pastry aisle at the store. But I am pretty happy with what I can actually eat. I mean, I get to eat as much as I want, and I have dessert pretty much every day. Awesome, right? So far, I've lost 30 pounds with Paleo. And I really like it because I actually like what I'm eating. So it may not be it for everybody, but it's for me for sure. The Paleo diet is like a lifestyle that resembles the hunter and gatherers of the Paleoanthropic era. So what this means is you eat what they could have eaten back then. So this is no processing, no grains, no dairy, no soy, no artificial anything, and no sugar. Paleo also further takes out any legumes and starchy vegetables for health reasons. Now, the reason why this choice is based off this era is because most of the big health issues that we see today, like cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, they were basically non-existent during that time. One of the things I love about Paleo is that it basically backs everything up in the diet scientifically. There's research as to why things are good and why things are bad, and it's excellent. Now, if you really like to see that kind of stuff in your diet and know that it's good, you can check out this book, which details the Paleo diet, and it goes into each element of the diet and why each thing is bad and good and backs it by research. So it's really awesome. I would definitely suggest getting it if you really want to look into the behind the scenes of the diet. Now, there's two main cons to the Paleo diet, which you should know about if you're planning on getting in there. And the first one is time. You will have to cook literally all your meals because, like I said before, nothing pre-made is paleo friendly. Now, if you go into the grocery store and you look at the ingredient list, everything that's pre-made and even processed meats all have sugar. It's literally insane. Like, no wonder our society has so much obesity and sugar addiction. I don't know about you, but when I started this diet plan, I was a beginner in the kitchen. I mean, I had like spaghetti and loaded mashed potatoes were my specialty. Not exactly a culinary mastery there. But I had to familiarize myself with cooking and be able to cook all these meals in this time period, and it takes a lot of time. I mean, all my free time is meal prepping, meal planning, meal cooking. The second con is cost. A lot of people say that the Paleo diet is very expensive, which can be true. I mean, Paleo essentially wants you to eat grass-fed, cage-free, organic products, and those come with a higher price tag in the grocery store. Also, if you do want those convenient foods, you can find them on Amazon or Thrive Market, but they are going to come with a hefty price tag. If you really like to explore in the kitchen, you want to bake with Paleo, and you want all those paleo-friendly flours and cooking supplies, baking powder, stuff like that, then that's also going to come with a higher price tag. So you just have to decide what you want to do, but it doesn't have to be super expensive. When if you're okay with the minimalist, if you're okay with just like some meat and sweet potatoes and vegetables on your plate every day, then you can make it really inexpensive. You do what you do. Even if you eat regular meat and regular vegetables, you're going to do wonders for your health versus not coming on this diet. If you are interested in seeing a video of a budget paleo plan for a month, let me know down in the comment section. All right, you guys have made it through all my diets. Woo! Thanks for hanging in there. Now I'm gonna have some secrets for you guys on how to better lose weight and to continue your process. Now, these are tips that can be good for any diet, and they've been great for me, so I really hope they help you guys out. So before I started my weight loss journey, I did a lot of research because I wanted to lose weight the most efficiently way that I could. And what I found is that there's a lot of struggle because your body continues to adjust to what you're doing. So this is great for our bodies in general. It means that we can survive in the toughest situations, but it makes losing weight really difficult. So the goal is to continue to shock your body over and over so that you continue to lose weight and don't hit those plateaus. Now, there's a variety of ways to do this. I personally have chosen to calorie cycle. Calorie cycles, basically changing the amount of calories that you're eating throughout the week. Let's say you're on a 2,000 calorie plan. If you continue to eat 2,000 calories, your body is going to eventually adjust to that, and you're going to plateau. You're going to have to continue to lower your calories over and over again to keep that weight loss going. And if we keep going at that rate, we're eventually going to starve, you know? The reason why our bodies adjust to this is because they're designed to survive. So back at the time when people didn't have food readily available to them, they would have long periods of time where they didn't have any food, or they have a very low calorie diet. The body made the energy less so that they didn't have to burn as many calories. And you're really distracting me, Bronson. Do you need some attention? And this would prolong the body longer so that it wouldn't shut down. Once the food was available again, then it was able to go back up to normal and burn normal energy levels. Now, in today's society, we don't really have a need for food. It's everywhere. But our bodies don't realize that, and they're still going to be on alert. So when your food habits change, and your body's going to be like, okay, we need to survive. Let me lower down these calories and not burn as much. By restricting your caloric intake by a lot, you're going to trigger that process. So the best way not to trigger it is to calorie cycle. So the easiest way to calorie cycle is to have 6 days a week where you're eating diet, and then 1 day a week where you're cheating or eating anything. This allows the body to be confused and wondering what calorie you're on. So it's never going to adjust down to those lower calories because you keep eating the more calories and saying, I'm okay, I've got this food. Now, there's different variations of calorie cycling. There's some that have a couple days throughout the week, and there's some that go longer term, like on a 2-week or even a month-long calorie cycling. Personally, I prefer the week-long cycling with just the 1 or 2 cheat days, because that allows you during the week, like if you're really craving something, to say like, okay, if I hold on, I can have it on Saturday, or I can have it on Sunday, whatever your day is. And that makes you want to do it more because you know that you're going to be able to have that food, just you're going to have to wait a couple days. It also, for me, feels more practical because your body has a whole week to reverse from that 1 day of eating poorly. So that really helps in keeping the weight loss continuing down as well. There's also more efficient calorie cycling where it actually will tell you this many calories on your diet day, this many calories on your non-diet day. So you can get extra precise with it if you want to. I prefer not to do that. I hate calorie counting. I do calorie count in some circumstances when I need to make sure I'm on track for a weight loss or to not starve myself, because that does happen if you're not eating enough calories. But I prefer not to do it if I don't have to. Now, with all the diets that I've talked to you about in this video, I do the calorie cycling, with the exception of the Paleo Diet when I was using it as the Elimination Diet. If you are doing an Elimination Diet, you cannot cheat. You cannot add in foods that you're not supposed to eat anytime. You can eat more on the weekends if you want, and less during the week, but you cannot add in those foods because they need to be taken out of the body completely. Once you reintegrate everything back that second month, then you are free to have the cheat days. I personally have entered back in everything already, and so I'm doing a Friday night cheat meal along with a Saturday cheat day. I think this works out perfectly because everyone wants to go out Friday and Saturday night. Those are like the 2 prime nights to go out, and the weekend is the hardest time not to cheat. The second tip I have is to not rely on the scale for happiness. Now, during this journey, you're going to have heavy drops, you're going to have minimal drops, you're going to have plateaus, you might even have gains. It's important to not let that number on the scale affect how you feel about the week that you just did. And I say week because you should not weigh yourself more than once a week. Your weight continually fluctuates throughout the week, so you're going to get unreliable results, and it's also going to make you obsessed with the scale. Now, things that you should rely on to make you happy are the fact that you made it through a whole week without cheating, or that you were mentally stronger that week, or that you increased your workouts and you feel great about that. Like, those are the things you want to look at. You feel better in your clothes. You're going to look at those things, and it's going to make you a lot happier throughout that week than getting to the week and realize you only lost 1 pound, or you didn't lose any pounds. My final tip is to work on your mental state throughout this process. I think it's really important to know and to find out why you're at the place you're at. So really look within yourself and ask yourself, how did you get here? And I also think it's important to realize that when you're going through your process, you're going to have a lot of mental battles that you're going to have to deal with. Me, for instance, I've been an emotional eater my whole life. So anytime that I've been happy, sad, mad, stressed out, even bored, I would use food to cope with that. I used to tell people that it wasn't even a battle that I could fight. Like, it literally was just my mind telling me, this is what we're going to do, we're going to go eat, and I wouldn't even have the mental battle of, I really shouldn't do this, I should do this, and so on and so forth. I decided that I couldn't let that be the case anymore. I want to be aware so I can fight and I can do the right thing. So I actually ended up doing a lot of research on addiction. And I found this really awesome exercise. So it comes through a few days. The first day, you write about how you felt, like morning, afternoon, and evening. That's it, just how you feel. The next day, you talk about like any triggers that you might have had. If you gave in, what were the triggers? How did you feel at that time? And then the third day you get into talking about your experience. So like you mess up, you're doing this thing, exactly how did you get there and how are you feeling? How do you feel afterwards? So this really helped me. For example, I'll talk about I went to fast food almost every day after work. And doing this exercise, it made me realize that I'm doing it because I'm tired and I feel like I need it because I don't want to cook and I'm stressed out from work. So this is like my reprieve, you know? But after doing this exercise, I also realized that it's not that exciting and it wasn't that satisfying to me at all. Like I was typically in a long line to get the food. I got the food and I got home and it wasn't even that great. Like it wasn't like, oh my gosh, it's so good. It was just basic. It was okay, you know? And then afterwards, I always was unsatisfied. I didn't feel good because of the food I was eating, and then I always felt guilty because I'm cheating on my diet and I know I shouldn't be eating this food. I started realizing that every time I went out to eat, I had the exact same experience. And once I was able to realize that, then it was so much easier for me to actually have that fight with myself to say, no, I really don't need this. And I was able to rationally think it through. So I really think that journaling is an amazing way to get started with your mental thing. You can do some research on addiction like I did and do some exercises with yourself. You know, you really need to work on your mind as well as your diet to get to the place where you want to be. Okay guys, thank you for hanging in here with me this long. If you enjoyed this or learned something, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and stay tuned next week when I do part 2, how I lost my 60 pounds exercise edition. So thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.